Live Well, Voxmate, an all-in-one app for the blind, presented by Katja Danilova on the 28th of April 2022. About Live Well. Live Well is a series of events aimed at helping people make the most of life with sight loss. Live Well is a collaborative project between 6 local independent sight societies. Sight Advice South Lakes, Cumbria; My Sight's Notts, Nottingham; Sight Airedale, in the Airedale area of North and West Yorkshire; Support for Sight, in Mid and West Essex; Sutton Vision, in the London Borough of Sutton; and Outlookers in Huddersfield in West Yorkshire.
Good morning, everybody. This is Tim from Sight Advice South Lakes, part of the Rainbow Group you've heard about, award winners apparently. Did you hear that, Katja? We won an award for these very shows. So, right, this morning we're really pleased to have Katja Danilova. Have I said it correctly, Katja?
Yes.
Thank
yes,
you.
Absolutely.
From Voxmate. And Voxmate, I've seen Katja before. Voxmate is an incredible app. It's got some really simple ways of swiping your phone to get to what you want to, quicker than you think. So I'm going to pass you over to Katja. Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you. So thank you for having me. I'm really happy to be here, and I'm really happy to hear you also. I hope that at one point, everyone who would like to say a word will have this opportunity. But so let me tell you a little bit about Voxmate. Then I will demo Voxmate as well. I will showcase some things you can do on Voxmate. So, and then we can jump into questions, and you can also ask or suggest anything you would like to about Voxmate. So what Voxmate is? Well, some years ago, my stepfather lost his sight, and due to this reason, he had to stay in a hospital for a while. And so he wanted to do like basic things, to listen to radio, to make phone calls, to listen to the news, to play some games, and maybe to read books. And he had an Android phone. And so we were trying, to learn screen readers ourselves and to teach him to use screen readers, but that was too much. And then at some point, we just thought that maybe we can create something that would be easy enough, simple enough, and that could be used from day one after vision loss, after sight loss. So we were thinking about a solution that wouldn't need any specific knowledge, that wouldn't need any specific understanding about the technology, and that could become like a stepping stone into assistive technology. So the idea was that Voxmate would be the first app you can use when you just try to become familiar with smartphones or when you just lost sight. And then because you can already get accustomed to Voxmate, to smartphones in general, then maybe you can also try and learn screen readers, and then maybe you can do even more on your smartphones. And so the metaphor we came up with is a metaphor of 4 swipe gestures. So we tried to create an application that would be navigatable with just 4 swipes, up, down, left, and right. And then with these 4 swipes, you can access a lot of things on Voxmate. So it's not a screen reader as such. Rather, Voxmate has a set of apps that are audio-first apps, meaning that you don't have to look at the screen. You don't have to, try and find things on the screen. Instead, these applications are such that you give them swipes as an input. You just swipe, and then the application talk back to you. So after some months of development here in Estonia, we showed it to the blind people here in our country. And yes, I'm from Estonia. It's a small country near Finland and unfortunately near Russia as well. And then after this initial trial with our people here, we also invited 100 blind people around the world to join this camp of beta testers of Voxmate application. And so we discovered that even if you are already quite knowledgeable in screen readers, you still, for example, benefit from using Voxmate if you would like to listen to the news. Because what we did is we created absolutely clean interface for the news outlets. So you don't have any pop-ups, you don't have any like multitudes of all different things that usually news outlets have on their websites. So once again, you navigate using just main for swipes, up, down, left, and right. And then Voxmate talks to you in return. We have already 20 such audio-first applications, and we hope to add some more. We also hope that soon any developer can join and create Voxmate applications for themselves. And so our apps are divided into 6 categories. We have categories such as phone, entertainment, social, games, resources, and utilities. In a phone app, obviously you can make phone calls and receive phone calls. In the entertainment, you can read the news, listen to YouTube videos, listen to audiobooks, music, and the radio. In the social section, you can send a Telegram message. Telegram is a chat application similar to WhatsApp, for example. And then you can also chat in the audio forum. This is our own app that anyone can use. You can find other people around the world, or you can ask us questions about Voxmate. So it's like a forum that has only audio on it. Then in the game section, there are such games as Sudoku, Math Doku, Blackjack, and Quiz. And also we have a multiplayer game, 4 Colors, which is similar to Uno game, and that you can play with other people who use Voxmate. And then in the utilities section, there is a simple OCR application. You can also make a voice recording, like a note, and you can also identify places nearby with Wikipedia. So if you're located in a place that has a lot of like scenery place that have their own articles on Wikipedia, that this is something you can access as well. And then in the resources section, there are some apps that can help you. For example, there is a Hand Shows Knowledge Village content that you can access through Voxmate as well. So, so yes, this is like shortly about Voxmate. And well, the beauty is that Voxmate has a completely blank screen, so you can use it without any text like being written on the screen. Or you can choose a high contrast style, and then, for example, the screen will be black, but letters will be quite big and white. Or the screen can be blue and letters can be white. Or the screen can be orange and letters will be black. So like high contrast things, how do you call them? Themes, yes. But also you can just, turn any visuals off, and then Voxmate will still be working. So I had this quite complicated setup so that my sound from the phone would go into the Zoom. But unfortunately, as it happens with technologies, it didn't work. So I will be now demoing Voxmate by just holding it near my headphones. Usually it still works quite fine. So please let me know if you can't hear anything once I start, okay? And then I will try to figure out something else. Okay, so now I would like to show you to demonstrate how it happens like in Voxmate. So what do you do in Voxmate? And first, I will just go through the main menu. So once Voxmate is set up, it will open itself, and then you are in the main menu, and you can go through the categories by swiping, for example, down or swiping up. So now I will be just swiping down from the main menu. Voxmate. Okay. Can you hear me? Give me some feedback.
Just about. You said Voxmate, yes?
That's right. That's right. Okay. So now we are in the main menu. First was phone. Now I'm just swiping down. Entertainment category, and now I'm just swiping down.
Social, games, resources, utilities, early access feedback, settings.
It's now 12 hours, 14 minutes and 22 seconds p.m. You have
phone.
Okay, so we are back to the main menu. So a lot of things in Voxmate are in a Rolodex form. So whenever you swipe through, at one point you will be back to the beginning. Okay. So now what happens when you first download Voxmate? When it starts with a tutorial, simple tutorial for about a minute, maybe even less, just to give like a glimpse how to use it. So I would like to recreate this experience. So I will go into the settings and I will just launch the tutorial. So now I will be swiping up until I find settings, and from there I will be doing following things. Okay.
It's now 12 hours.
Settings.
Okay, here are the settings. And as you have heard, I can interrupt Voxmate. This is something that is also really easily done. At any point of time, you can just swipe anywhere and you can interrupt Voxmate. Okay, so now in the settings, again, swiping right.
Manage subscription.
Now I will be looking for help option to find tutorials. So now I will be just swiping down.
Preferences. Login to portal. Permissions. Plugins. Launcher. Help.
Okay, here swipe right.
Tutorials.
So I would like to access tutorials again, swipe right.
Part 1 basic navigation.
Okay, so this is one I would like to do. We have 3 tutorials in total. This is the first one. I will just go right on it, and then I will do what Voxmate tells me to do.
Welcome. This is a short tutorial to show you the basics of Voxmate. To skip the tutorial, draw a counterclockwise circle on the screen. To use Voxmate, you mostly need 4 swipes, up, down, left, and right.
Try swiping up. Put your finger in the middle of the screen and flick up. Try swiping down. Put your finger in the middle of the screen and flick down.
Use up and down swipes to jump between items and menus.
Try swiping left. Put your finger in the middle of the screen and flick left.
Let's say I didn't understand that, so I do something else.
I didn't quite get that. Let's try again. Try swiping left. Put your finger in the middle of the screen and flick left. Try swiping right. Put your finger in the middle of the screen and flick right.
Use the swipe right gesture to activate an option in menus. Use the swipe left gesture to go back. Let's try all the gestures together. Try finding banana in this menu by swiping up or down. When you find it, swipe right to activate.
Apple.
No, banana, I'm swiping down.
Orange.
No,
Mango.
no.
Banana.
Yep, that's it. So swiping right.
Try finding banana again, but this time from a submenu.
Vegetables.
No,
Fruits.
yes, swiping right.
Apple.
No, swiping down.
Banana.
Yes, swiping right.
Now you've got the basics to start using Voxmate. Pay attention to this sound. This sound indicates a helpful hint. Hints are repeated a number of times, but then stop. Here's your first hint. Did you know that we have more tutorials? You can find them in Settings, Help, Tutorials.
Part 1 basic navigation.
Okay, and so the tutorial ended and Voxmate just closed it and returned me back to the menu. So this is how the tutorial is done. And again, so a couple of things, right? So swiping right will always activate an option. So if you would like to understand whether there is something like under this option, you can always try to swipe right. And if there is something, then Voxmate will open it. Now, if you would like to go back, then wherever you are in Voxmate, you can swipe left until you get to the main menu. So let me just demonstrate it. Right now, we are somewhere deep in Voxmate, and I would like to get back to the main menu so that I can, start searching for some other things. So I would be just swiping left until I hear Voxmate.
Tutorial. Settings.
Voxmate.
Okay,
Phone.
and here I am. So I would just swiping left. Okay, so what else actually can we do? What now can we do in Voxmate? So first there is phone, and let me just demonstrate how this works. So the phone app, this is a specific thing for Android phones that as a developer, you can take the native applications over. So that means that we can create some other things for making phone calls and sending text messages than Android has on its own. For example, iPhones doesn't allow this, so only iPhone application can be used for making calls and sending text messages. But that also means that here in Voxmate, you can set Voxmate as your default dialer, so that all phone calls will go into Voxmate and from Voxmate. So, and here we did a couple of things. For example, whenever one of the contacts is added as your favorite, it will be the first one that you get when you open the phone app. So once I swipe right now, there will be this my start contact, which is me myself, and then I can go through the menus. So let me show it. Again, swiping right on the phone. And this is the first contact. You can already interact with this. You can already make something. But let me just go through the set of menus. So swiping down. All the contacts you have. And then what you can do with the contacts here, you can add them, modify them, delete contacts, add additional phone number, for example. Swiping down.
Dial a phone number.
Okay, so just from the start, swiping down.
Recent calls.
Recent calls. Here again, I can just see who called me, make an outgoing call, or for example, add this phone number into my phone book. Okay.
Settings.
Some settings for this specific phone app.
KD.
Okay, and so here is my start contact, and how do I make the call? Well, this is simple enough. I just swipe right.
1. Call mobile.
Calling.
Okay, so it's making the call. There is this subtle sound, and here's my another phone that shows that Voxmate demo is actually making a call. So to finish the call, I just swipe left. To accept the call, if that would be somebody calling me, then I would just swipe right. So here I'm just swiping left.
Not connected.
1. Call mobile. KD.
Okay. So here is how the phone works. Again, I'm just exiting to the main menu.
Phone.
Now let's suppose that we would like to listen to an audiobook. So audiobook is a part of entertainment. Now I have to somehow find it, and it's easy enough, swiping down from the phone.
Entertainment.
Now I know that audiobooks are in entertainment, so I swipe right.
World news.
First one would be world news, so I'm just going to swipe up to go through all the options we have.
Tune into radio. Listen to podcasts. Music on my phone. Browse YouTube. Listen to audiobooks.
And here it is, so I just swipe right.
LibriVox audiobooks.
We have plans to add more audiobooks providers, but currently we have only LibriVox. It's free audiobooks for everyone, and so we created an app for it. Again, just swiping right.
My bookshelf.
So here I have my bookshelves. If there are any books that I'm already listening to, swiping down.
Browse books by genre. Search.
I can search for an author or for a title.
About LibriVox audiobooks.
And just about this.
My bookshelf.
Back to my bookshelf. So I already have a book there. I'll just swipe right.
Santa Claus by Eden Philpotts.
No, not this one. Swiping down.
The Hound of the Baskervilles by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle.
Yes, this is the one. So swiping right.
Continue listening.
Yes, and I would like to.
Mr. Sherlock Holmes. Mr. Sherlock Holmes, who was usually very late in the mornings, save upon those not infrequent occasions when he was up all night.
Okay. The sound you just heard is pause in Voxmate. So for example, if I'm listening to a podcast or an audiobook or even to a news article, and I need to pause it for a couple of seconds, I just hold the screen, like type and hold, and then it will pause the book, for example. Now I did it because in Voxmate, as it is like a lot of sub menus, basically it's an app of sub menus. There is also a sub menu while you're listening actively to an audiobook. So right now I will be just swiping right from the audiobook.
You're listening to section 1 of 15 Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
Sleep timer.
And it will tell me a little like what are the extra options. For example, I can set up a sleep timer or swiping down.
Go to beginning of this section. Go to next section. Set playback speed. Sleep timer.
Okay, so these are the additional extra options you can use when you're listening to an audiobook. Of course, sleep timer is a very useful one. Okay, so this is about the books. And now what else? Maybe let's go to the news. So again, I will just go left until I hear name of this specific audio app, so audiobooks.
There are no voice commands available in the current context.
Sorry, it thought something different of me.
Proceed. Continue listening. The Hound of the Baskervilles.
My bookshelf.
LibriVox Audiobooks. Listen to audiobooks.
And here we are. There was a closing sound. So this was a closing sound for an app. Okay, so now let me just swipe down.
Browse YouTube.
No.
Music on my phone.
No.
Listen to podcasts.
No.
Tune into radio. World news.
Yeah, world news. Okay, so swiping right.
Sky News.
That's the first we have. We have something like 16, I think, news providers, and we can add more if you tell us which ones. But let's not choose Sky News. Let's swipe down.
HuffPost UK.
Let's choose this one. And why not Sky News? Because I tried it before and they were really depressing news. So I'll just go into HuffPost and swipe right.
9 devices to switch off standby to save on your bills.
Yeah, this is
1 of 50.
quite neutral. So I'll just pick this. Again, this was title of the article that is published in HuffPost UK. Now I'll just swipe right on it, and that's all I do.
Leaving your phone charger plugged in is costing you money.
Households in the UK can save an average of £147 per year by switching off vampire devices.
See?
Vampire devices are electronics that drain a large amount of power even when they're on standby, costing you money. Households are spending too.
Okay, and so this is basically what happens. Like once you swipe right on any news article title, it will start reading this title, and you can go by swiping up and down through the blocks of this article, and then you can pause it, or you can go back, and then you can search for another article. So this is how it goes with the article and with the news. Okay. So I think this is enough for showcasing, because I know that sometimes it's, we need some interaction, I guess, for it to become more interesting. But some other things to just give you a general understanding of Voxmate. So it can work together with TalkBack as well. We have such an option that you can enable this compatibility with TalkBack, and then all you need is to add one extra finger to all swipes. So right now you use only one finger to swipe. If your TalkBack is on, you need to use 2 swipes, and then you still can use Voxmate. We also have such things like, for example, editor. So if we are talking about searching for something, for example, a podcast or a book, or typing in Telegram, so typing the message, you can use our keyboard, which is our users are in love-hate relationship with it. So it's a full screen keyboard. And this is the only thing that uses touch type in Voxmate. So basically you touch the screen to go through the letters until you find the letter you are looking for, and then you can release your finger and that it will be used this letter. You can also narrate with your voice, and we have STT as well, which means that, for example, when you are searching for something, you can narrate your search message, and then this will transform it into text, and then it will use the text. You can use it, for example, in writing messages as well. And I can see that there is a question about our subscription. So annual, so let me tell you about the subscription in general. Voxmate is on freemium, which means that you can use it for free forever, but for a limited time, per couple of days. And then after that, Voxmate will make a pause and it will renew your ability to use in a couple of days. Or you can opt in for a monthly or annual subscription. And our monthly subscription is £3.09, and then our annual subscription is £29.49 per year. But again, you can just download Voxmate, play with it, understand if it's something that you like, and only after a while to subscribe, or just continue using it for free.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was actually a question by Key just a second ago on the chat box, how much it costs. So hopefully, Key, you had your answers from Katja just now.
Good.
Yeah.
Katja, Tim here. Just a quick one. I know you can use it on the Android phone, but tablets also.
Yes, tablets
Yes,
also.
yeah, that's fine. And I suppose what I do like about it, I have to teach people technology sometimes. And what I like about Voxmate is when you get in trouble on technology, you can easily get out of trouble just by swiping backwards.
Yes.
I find a lot of technologies, a lot of apps, you can get in the middle of them, get to somewhere where you don't want to be, and then can't get out of it again. But with Voxmate,
Yes.
is it just swiping left? You get out of trouble? Is that the easiest way? If you're in
Yes.
the wrong bit, you just swipe left and you get back to the main menu eventually.
Yes.
Yes.
That's right. Wherever you are.
Yeah, this is a big thing for our clients, isn't it, Tim? They're so worried to use technology just in case they, as you say, they get totally lost. So yeah, makes life.
As do we.
Yeah.
Sometimes we get lost. We can see our way out of it, but
Yeah.
if you're just trying to listen to your way out of it, a lot of apps you can really get trapped in the middle. And other than turning your phone on and off,
That's
this one is easy
true.
though.
That's
This
true.
one's easy. Yes.
Katja, when you're sort of buried in a menu, is it a quick way to just get back right to the beginning, or do you have to just keep swiping left, 3, 4, 5 times?
There is also an easier way. You can do a counterclockwise gesture. And there is a tutorial that will teach you to do this gesture as well. But basically, it's like you draw a circle on the screen and you draw it counterclockwise.
Ah, very good.
Yes. So we have a couple of extra gestures for people who, are looking for increasing their speed of use, or they need this extra gesture. So for example, one of them would be double swipes when TalkBack is even off. So you can double swipe from the main menu to the left, and then there will be a quick option to exit Voxmate. Or for example, you can draw a clockwise circle on the screen, and that would open a help menu. For some apps. Or for example, you can double tap and hold, and that would be a recording gesture. And we have a second tutorial on these gestures as well. They're not necessary to, absolutely necessary to use Voxmate, but they help you with some things. There was also a question from Key, OCR, do you need a good camera? Right. No, so we tested our OCR on the cheapest smartphone we could find on the market. It was some quite old Samsung, and it obviously had quite poor camera, and it still worked well, given that you have enough of light, of course. So you have to have enough of light in the room. And Voxmate will also give you this feedback. So for example, if it can't read, it will tell you that I can't read, and then it will suggest a couple of things, like what might be wrong. I can't say that, so we didn't try to make, the best OCR, because the idea currently was that maybe it's better to give some starting points, but then if you need a really good OCR, then actually there are a lot of good apps on the market. And then you can just, with time, learn screen readers, and then use one of these really good apps on the market that offer OCR. But still, for a printed text, it works quite well.
Does it give you any guidance on sort of it might say one corner of the top edge isn't visible, that sort of thing, or is it sort of hold and hope?
It will give you a sound. So basically, it will give you a sound if will help you navigate to understand whether there is text at all where you're trying to aim. But it's not that developed that it would give you more decent feedback, as you mentioned.
Okay.
I'll ask a couple of questions. Sorry, it's Pierre. I'm on the phone. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes.
I'm not muted. Oh, just a couple of small things. I mean, the first one is just a basic one, can you excuse me? Can you change the voice settings to your sort of liking to some degree? It sounded pretty nice what you had, but if you wanted to change the speed or who was dictating. And the other thing I just made me think of is that it reminds me a lot of. I lost my sight a few years ago, and I have a few old stick MP3 players. I've got a Philips one and a Sony one, and they use a similar system like left, right, up, down, and unfortunately they don't have talking. So if I wanted to use them, except for more than like one album or one track, I have to like remember 2 taps to the right, 1 tap to the left. So is there any chance that this might end up one day in sort of MP3 stick players?
Very interesting. Okay, so first question. Yes, we use, so you can connect to almost any TTS you have on your device. So it means that, for example, if you have a cappella or you have, I'm drawing a blank, any other TTS engine that you really like, then yes, you can switch to it. We also have, like, and we also recommend just to use Google TTS because currently, well, quality-wise, they're the best. And this is something that you get once you download Voxmate. You get Google TTS voices. If you are a premium subscriber, then you can use WaveNet TTS voices, and WaveNet is state-of-the-art currently of TTS voices, so that would be the best. You can also, and so yes, Google gives you something like 50 different voices you can choose from, male, female, and different accents. And then you can also you can also change the speed, of course. So currently the speed that you heard was 25% faster than basic speed, and you can go as up to 4 times faster. Because yeah, we know that some people really, you know, are so familiar with the app, they don't need to hear everything, and that's enough to be high speed.
Hello.
Hi, Alice.
Hi, hello, hi, it's Alice. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Oh, hello, yeah, hi. Sorry, I came in a bit late to the meeting, so I might have missed a few bits and pieces. I don't use a touchscreen phone. Sorry, and back then as well, I had a phone call I had to take, but I don't use a touchscreen phone. I'm using the Blindshell. I don't know if you anyone has come across it. It's not touchscreen, but it is a smartphone, but it has the button control, you know, the keypad. So I don't know how that I don't know how that would work with this phone. I mean, the actual company, I guess it would have to be them, would it, to put that app on there, or?
So we are in the process of figuring out, because Blindshell is connected to Google Play, which means that you can install apps that are on Google Play, and Voxmate is on Google Play. You can install them on Blindshell, but we haven't tested it yet, whether you can use it with the keyboard, because, well, we just haven't, you know, get to it yet. But in general, you can use Voxmate on other devices, on general smartphone devices with a keyboard. And so that gives us actually hope that you can use it on the Blindshell as well, at least at some point. But currently, yes, unfortunately, I can't give you a guarantee that it will work. But again, if you, from what I understand, there are different Blindshells, but you can, if you can get an access to Google Play, you can try and install Voxmate and then just, you know, give it a try. If it will work, then it will work. If it won't work, then there is something to be done in the future.
Is it a free app?
It's a premium app, which means that you download and use it for free in the beginning, and you can continue using it for free. But if you use it too much, then at one point it will just pause your usage for a couple of days. And if you would like to unpause it, then you can buy a subscription.
So it's for how long? Sorry, I didn't catch that bit. It's for like a trial period, is it?
No, you can use it for free forever. But I don't know, we were thinking that we were quite clever. And so we came up with a system that, for example, if you use Voxmate longer than a couple of hours continuously, then it will pause and it will ask you to buy a subscription. But if you use it less than a couple of hours, then even daily, then you can continue using it for free.
Oh, I see. Okay, right. Now, is there a certain version of the app, not the app, sorry. Is there a certain version of, because I do have an older touchscreen phone. It's the Samsung phone. I think it's version 6. Would that be compatible for this app?
If it's version 6, then no. So we are compatible with phones that are Nougat, which is version 7 and
7 upwards, yeah.
and newer. Yes.
Okay, all right, that's fine. Great, thank you.
Thank you. There was another question that I didn't yet answer.
Yeah.
So whether Voxmate will be available on other like hardware devices. We weren't actually thinking about MP3 players. That's an interesting one, but we were thinking about a ring. So, you know, there are smart rings currently, or for example, watches, smart watches. And so we were thinking of integrating Voxmate with a smart watch. That would mean that you can just swipe on your, for example, Samsung or Apple Watch, and then these swipes will go into Voxmate. And for example, you have your headphones, you have your watch, and you have a phone, and then you swipe on the watch, and you can hear everything that happens in your headphones. So yes, we are thinking about adding Voxmate to some hardware devices.
Hello.
Yeah, go on, sorry.
Yes, I've got a question. Does it have a dialer or number pads? Let's say if you're calling your doctor or hospital, normally you have to press a certain number or key and press certain numbers on number pad.
Not yet, but we are working on it. So there are a couple of complications, but yes, this is something that we would like to add. That's definitely so.
Does it have access to like third-party app like Be My Eyes or online libraries by using Easy Reader?
No, we do not have access to Be My Eyes. But what you can do is, because Be My Eyes is quite simple as it is, so you can, for example, set Voxmate as a launcher. That's a thing that people on Android know. So basically on Android, you can change home screen.
Okay.
How to explain? So launchers is when you set Voxmate as a launcher, then you can navigate through all your apps, like through all your menus that you have on the phone through Voxmate. And then, for example, you can open Be My Eyes through Voxmate, but then you get into their general app, and through there you can make a call with Be My Eyes.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Does Voxmate provide a simplified interface for connecting to Wi-Fi and that kind of thing, accessing your battery levels and general sort of phone settings?
General phone settings, no, but you can access, for example, battery level. That yes, you can also access time and weather, and it will tell you when once, for example, it's plugged in, then that it's charging and how much battery the phone has. But to general settings, no.
What about for joining Wi-Fi networks?
Also no, because Voxmate is not a screen reader, so this is a functionality that's available only for screen readers and for assistive tech, as it's called in this Android ecosystem. And Voxmate doesn't have these permissions, so we can't just see your settings.
Can you talk us just through a little bit how the keyboard works?
How the keyboard
so
works?
when you review it, yeah, well, when you're, say, if you're typing a line and then you've got to change a letter in that sentence, how would you navigate what you've written? Would it again be swipes, or would you have to sort of move your finger on the text you've written?
They will be swipes. Maybe I can show it.
Voxmate. Phone.
So let me go into the notes.
It's now 12.
Settings. Early access utilities. Make notes.
My notes. Record a new book. Make a new text note. Edit.
Okay, so now we are in the editor. We have a tutorial for editor as well, which is very interactive. So now we are in the editor, and let's say I'll do something here. So I'll write a couple of words.
Open keyboard.
Okay, so here is a keyboard and charge port to the right. It will tell you for the first 3 times when you open it, the charge port to the right, and it's in a landscape.
Help. Oh. Hello.
Okay, so this is the word hello.
K dot space. Chef. TR. TEI.
F5.
T3
wasn't it? Using
DS.
Friends.
Okay, so it basically what I did is that I touch typed, and when it told me the letter, then I just lifted my finger, and then this letter was inserted. Now I can exit the keyboard. Okay. Now I can just swipe again, left or right.
Hello. Friends.
That was just me swiping left and swiping right. Now, to do something with this, for example, if I would like to add, I don't know, something in the end, then I'll just swipe down on this word.
Open keyboard. Insert symbol.
Swipe right.
Dot.
And for example, dot.
Friends.
Dot.
Okay. So now I have a couple of interactions with this text as well. So for example, if I swipe with 2 fingers, I swipe up.
Hello, friends.
Then it will read everything also with symbols. So if there are, many sentences, for example, and then in these sentences, there are some punctuation symbols, then Voxmate will read each word and each punctuation symbol. Now, if I swipe down with 2 fingers,
hello, friends,
then it will just read everything that you have written, but without punctuation, just, to a quick assessment, like whether I have inputted everything I wanted. And now I can, if let's say the text is long, then I can move with 2 fingers left and 2 fingers right to get to the beginning and to the end of the text blocks, like sentences. And then if I would want to submit the thing that I have written, then I swipe right until I hear, as we call it, the border sound. This was the border sound. Now, if I swipe right again, like repeatedly,
okay, make a new text note,
then it will submit the text. And again, we have a separate tutorial, which is very interactive in the sense that it covers everything about the editor. So it covers different input options, because you can input text in 3 ways. You can input, if it's a short text, then you can use a keyboard. If it's a longer text, then you can narrate it with your voice and the STT will just transcribe it. And for example, if you have your Bluetooth keyboard connected to the phone, then you can input the text through a keyboard. This is also an option. And then you can edit it with everything you have on your keyboard.
Can I just ask a couple more questions? Sorry, Pierre again. Just the short ones. The first is is the only way to access this through an Android phone? I don't have an Android phone. There isn't like a desktop version I can try out on my computer or anything. And
no.
The other one was okay. That's great. And the other one was just about I think you mentioned some games like Sudoku and things.
Yeah.
I mean, can you really play games on it?
Yes. Yes, you can play games. So Sudoku was a very interesting exercise for our minds because, well, visually to solve a Sudoku is one thing, like when you try to make this grid like structure. But when we try to make it only as a voice app, like audio app, then we actually came up with a couple of, in our opinion, very interesting decisions, like how to make it. So I would be happy to hear how you like it if you get a chance to try it out, because we created this grids inside the grid, and then it's separated by borders, and these borders you can also have this sounds that will indicate that this is the border and this is this 3x3 square, and the Sudoku board is of this 9x9, but then we divide it into 3x3 squares. And then you can solve all these squares separately. It's really fun. If you like Sudoku, then I think we've got a good solution for how to do it in an audio application. But unfortunately, we don't yet have an iPhone version and we don't have a desktop version. This is something that we would like to develop. So I hope that at one point soon that will also be available.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Pierre. How are we doing with your questions, people? More questions?
Yeah, can I ask this question? Tim, it's George in
Hi, George.
Canton.
You said earlier on that when you install it, it takes over some of the Android functions, I think. Like the dialer, you said.
That's only if you would like to. So automatically it doesn't do it. So automatically it's just an app. It doesn't take over anything.
Okay,
But if you would like to enable, for example, that phones will be going through Voxmate, then you can enable it. But that's your decision. Voxmate doesn't decide anything for you.
Okay, so you can still use the normal
That's right.
phone, you know. Yes,
that's right.
It doesn't interfere with other
That's right.
functions.
Yes. So it's not like Synaptic in that sense. If we compare, for example, this to, so it doesn't take your phone over in any way. It's just an app. And then it has some additional options, for example, for phone. But at the same time, you can use all other apps you have on your phone, like separately. So Voxmate just becomes this separate thing.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Another question. I think from what you've said about using the keyboard, that kind of implies to me that you cannot dictate text into it, like to send an SMS, for instance, or an email.
Unfortunately, we don't have emails and SMSs as apps just yet. Okay.
Okay.
So this is something that we would like to do, but it's not there yet.
But you don't have speech recognition at all either, do you?
No. But we have speech recognition. So we don't have like email apps and we don't have SMS apps.
Right.
But for example, we have Telegram and audio forum apps. And there, while composing a message, you can dictate a message.
Right.
Yes, I've got one more question. Can you listen to talking books from a USB pen? Can that be plugged into it?
Oh, that's an interesting question.
Yeah.
So what we have, for example, if you add a book to your SD card, so if you have, so in Android phones, you can input memory cards into the phone. So if you add a book to a memory card, then yes, you can listen to this book from Voxmate.
Do you need an OTG USB cable?
Not sure what that is.
Not sure, yes. Don't know what's that.
I'll just also mention something. I did it on my iPhone, but there's an app called VLC Player, and they sent me from RNIB a test sample book in MP3. And with VLC Player on my iPhone, although it's different, you can transfer your MP3s. I know I shouldn't, but you can. I'll probably delete it later, but you can transfer them to your phone using Wi-Fi. So it sounds really complicated, but it's actually quite simple. And then you go to your web browser and then put in a number on your, which is a HTTP that your phone gives you on VLC, and then you just add them on. It's like, so there's but a bit, you know, that's just, I thought I'd mention it.
Okay, thank you, Pierre. Right, then, folks.
There are a lot of ways to listen to audiobooks, which is very interesting. But like currently, yes, we don't support many of them, but I would like to. So we are in the talks with Vision Australia Books and with RNIB Books. So this is something that we're looking forward to add more talking books and audiobooks to the platform. So I hope that at one point you will be just able to listen to these books using Voxmate.
Box audiobooks.
So if it's on an app, basically, I know like we have the Talking Newspaper app in this country where you can access all the talking newspapers. I'm sure Voxmate would be able to access that app, wouldn't it? For the talking newspapers, you think?
I would have to talk to the developers, like not mine developers, but talking newspapers developers. So actually, if you can put me into the contact with them, that would be amazing. Like we can then discuss how their technology works. And then if they, for example, have just RSS feed, then yes, this is something that we can add. But also we have some other possibilities to add talking newspapers to Voxmate. It might be very simple to add. And if you feel that it is very valuable, then I'd be happy to.
Yes, it's one of the, because we're all from different parts of England on this call. and we all listen to a different newspaper.
Okay.
but they're all on one app.
Ah.
So
What's the
I'll
app?
email you that. I'll email it.
Yes. Thank you. That was really useful. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, everybody. How are we doing? So I know somebody's coming in on this line in 4 minutes' time, so I have to clear you off.
But I thank you very much. I think this was the most lively discussion I have had. So thank you very much. You had a lot of very interesting questions. I can sense that you actually thought together with me on this. That was really interesting. So I thank you. Thank you very much.
Live Well and Future Vision. We hope you enjoyed this presentation. The Live Well events take place on the second Thursday of each month at 10 AM. Future Vision sessions take place on the fourth Thursday of each month at 10 AM and are technology events aimed at people living with sight loss. To attend the next session or to suggest future topics, please contact your local Sight Society, who will be able to provide you with the Zoom link.